Hello, Internet. Zach MG here, and I just finished up watching Freaky on HBO Max, starring Vince Vaughn as the Butcher and Catherine Newton as Millie. The movie starts off with four friends drinking by a fire. Two of them go inside, and only to be killed by the Butcher. One of them deep throats a wine bottle, the other one gets flushed. Then, afterwards, the Butcher goes out, shows the main fake out girl that her boyfriend's actually a real racket head, real into tennis. The main fake out girl gets hung like a jacket, and the Butcher steals this mystic Aztec dagger, which has the skull on it, and the eyeball in the skull lights up, showing how strange it is. So the movie sets up our main character on the next day. Her name is Millie. It turns out she's got a dead dad, and she's pretty sad about it still. She's kind of bullied at school. She's a loser. She's the school mascot, and she gets bullied for that. They call her the only beaver that no one will touch. And she's even forgotten by her mom, who's apparently an alcoholic due to the fact that her husband's dead. So after a night of mascotting at the local football game, Millie's sitting there waiting for her mother to show up, but she never does. She calls her sister, only for her phone to die midway through the conversation. After that, the Butcher shows up and chases Millie down to stab her. So Millie gets stabbed with this Aztec dagger, only for a big pyramid to show up underneath them for a moment and disappear. When she gets stabbed, both her and the Butcher get hurt, but neither one of them die. Her sister shows up and scares them off, and overnight the switch happens. So the next day, the killer, now in Millie's body, begins to fill in for her shoes in some ways, although very silent and very creepy, standing around with knives, and everyone's kind of oblivious to, the fact that although she just got stabbed the previous night, she's still kind of acting funny. But she ends up going to school. Well, the Butcher ends up going to school in Millie's body, and conveniently ends up killing a bully and a teacher who's kind of a bully. And then we switch over to what Millie's been up to. She wakes up in an old mill surrounded by dead animals hanging from the ceiling and the rafters. She looks in a mirror to find out that she's a 55-year-old man, and then a drug addict asks her for drugs, and she's like, I don't have drugs. I'm a teenage girl in a grown man's body. Do I look like that? So the drug addict assumes she has drugs. Then she begins to terrorize the town inadvertently because she's in the Butcher's body. But she's not the Butcher. She's Millie. So she ends up finding her friends later on and beating the shit out of them, while Butcher in her body is straight up murdering people and getting away with it and raising no alarms. Overall, Freaky's a pretty good movie. It's going to have a lot of, those typical jokes for an old man in a young girl's body, grabbing his own tits. She's gonna flop her dick around. Basically, it's gonna be like Jack Black in Jumanji, or again, like Rob Schneider in The Hot Chick. If you like those movies, check it out. I thought it was pretty clever, pretty funny for a slasher film. There we go. That's it. Thanks for watching. Also, that Aztec dagger would be a very kinky sex tool. Not a sex toy, a sex tool.